RMG's Trash Talk is brought to you by Scrubs 911, Somerset's medical uniform store. Learn more at scrubs911.com or like them on Facebook.
Fans, welcome to RMG's Trash Talk. We appreciate your patience here. I know it's been a long time since we put a show out. In fact, it's been almost an entire month since we've done it. A lot of stuff going on here at RMG. We've had some remodeling done, which of course brought a lot of noise and dust, a lot of stuff going on here, making some improvements to the building. We've also had the big snowstorm, but that slowed everybody down whenever that happened. And also picked up a new sponsor of the show, as you saw here at the beginning, Scrubs 911. Medical uniforms for healthcare providers, healthcare givers here in Somerset County. You got a brand new place to shop opening soon. Proud to have them on board as a sponsor. Now, let's move into the meat of the show here. Not to refer to you as meat or anything. Sorry about that. Student athletes we don't usually bring onto the show for a handful of reasons. We don't want to show favoritism to any of the schools or anything like that. We don't want to distract the students from what they have going on at school. But this is the time of year when many of our players are starting to sign with colleges, starting to move onto the collegiate level, take their talents to the collegiate level. And one young man that's doing that from right here in Somerset, Jake Heiple. Jake, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Now, you've already announced, obviously, I mean, there's no surprise here. If you're looking at your attire, you're going to go be a member of the Red Flash, and congratulations for that.
Thank you.
Now, before we get into talking about moving into college, let's stay and talk about your time as a Golden Eagle and a Golden Eagle football player. I brought this up with Coach Landis when we had him in here towards the end of last year, and I'd like to go back to 2014, the big season, the big push into the playoffs. I mentioned to him about how the community really kind of wrapped their arms around the Golden Eagles that year. I mean, everybody was behind you. I mean, my daughter went to when you guys were getting on the bus. We live about a block away from the field house. She said, "Daddy, I want to go say goodbye to the team." She grabbed her orange towel, and there it was pouring rain. She's out there waving her towel. Hundreds maybe on your way down to the turnpike. Everybody out waving their towel, rooting you guys on. As a team, as a player, how did that make you feel to know that the whole town of Somerset had really kind of taken up and it was right behind you guys the whole way?
It was one of the greatest feelings I've ever felt in my life. I mean, it's pretty remarkable to see. Like you said, it was pouring down rain, and to have a lot of the community out there supporting us. And I don't know if that was, I can't remember if that was the Elite Eight game or the Final Four game, but that was just a remarkable run in general. It would definitely be a great memory for the rest of my life.
2015, a little bit different story. I mean, you guys had a whale of a year. You had a whale of a year. Projected to do more than what you guys did. I know you felt the same way in the locker room. I don't want to use the term disappointment because you guys have done phenomenal. I mean, you don't have to look too far back in the history book to see Somerset football at the bottom of the Laurel Highlands Conference. You guys close to the top. I mean, what happened in the playoffs in 2015? I mean, did you guys go into the Johnstown game thinking what's beyond Johnstown? Well, what was, as from a player standpoint?
I think from, like you said, from that 2014 season, we always had our eyes kind of further down the road. I don't think we overlooked Johnstown because they definitely have always had some great athletes and a lot of talent on that team. However, the 2014 season, it was almost as if we couldn't lose that district game. Like we all, you know, it was just such a magical run the year before that we just had so much hope in getting farther down the road. But Johnstown was a good team and they deserved to win. They played better that night, and it was disappointing, but you have to give credit where credit's due, and they deserved it. So.
Johnstown game signaled the end to your high school playing, I mean, albeit with the Lancey game coming up, but still the last game as a Golden Eagle football player. Moving on to the collegiate level, and this is where I'd really like to get into, I have some questions for you. Now, the process of recruiting has always fascinated me, to know that guys, you know, Joe Paterno sitting down at someone's table talking to them about their son, and for whatever reason, that kid saying no to Joe Paterno, but that's just the blue and white in me. But tell me about how the whole process starts. Is it something that, do you reach out to them with your huddle videos and any type of highlight reel, or do they watch great TV shows like RMG's Game Tape every Sunday at noon on W18 and ABC23? Do they watch the show? Do they watch and then contact you? How does the whole thing start?
Well, I'd say the biggest thing is having connections. in Somerset there aren't as many connections as if you would see in the WPIAL or even bigger in like the Philadelphia Catholic League or something. But I'd say that's the biggest advantage you can have, is having connections. However, I've talked to actually a couple people who did get recruited at about the same level I did, Division I AA, and that was what I saw my talent as being. And they said reach out to schools, and if you get back to them, attend as many camps as you possibly can and show off your talent, because the college coaches don't really pour into Somerset County. So you have to get your name out there, and that's what I did. I tried to get in contact with them, and if they were interested in me, I visited their school, and so that's pretty much how it happened for me.
Well, that leads me to the next question. How many schools had an interest in you? How did that whole process go? I mean, did they invite you to the campus and show you the weight room and what happens when a school? Well, first of all, how many other schools had interest in you, and then what was the process like when you went to visit?
At first, probably about 10. A lot of the Patriot League schools, about 3 Ivy League schools, and with the Ivy League schools, it's mainly with the test scores. I was so borderline there that it was a lot of communication right down to the end, actually. And I had one CAA school, Albany. They had 4 defensive backs committed, so then I got crossed off the list. I mean, and then it was between Duquesne and St. Francis for me, and I picked St. Francis.
What was it about St. Francis?
Honestly, at first, I always told my parents I don't want to stay close to home, but when I went up there and I took my official visit, it just felt right to me, and I could definitely see me spending 4 years there, and that's what it's about getting the education, and if it feels right, then it's a place for me.
Right. I was talking with Coach Landis about this. He said that they're, as you just mentioned, defensive back. That's where you want to go. We're used to seeing you as the running back coming out of the backfield. Maybe some special teams. Maybe you could light it up on special teams a little bit when you get to St. Francis.
Yeah, that's actually what they have my role as safety first, and then they want me to return punts and kicks as another feature to my game. And I've always loved returning punts and kicks, so I'm excited for that.
One of the other players from the Laurel Highlands Conference, a guy you're probably pretty familiar with, somewhat of a rival now between Somerset and Bishop Guilfoyle. We have their helmet here. Aaron Yasolitis also has committed to St. Francis. Are you excited to be playing alongside of him? I mean, he's a pretty electric player too.
Yeah, he makes plays all over the field. Very, very fast for a linebacker, and it's going to be nice him being on my team this year instead of against me. He definitely caused us some problems this year, and I'm very excited to see what we can both do at St. Francis.
Now, if you could give one lesson from the Somerset, or what one lesson the Somerset coaching staff taught you during your time as a Golden Eagle football player, what lesson is going to stick in your mind, not just as a football player, but as a person, as a young man, as a potential leader on the Red Flash? What one lesson are you taking from Somerset and taking to Loretto?
I would say being humble. Growing up as a kid, sitting in the stands, my mom was actually the cheer coach, so I had to go to all the games, and it was brutal at times, 0-10, 1-9 seasons. And when I got to be there, went 9-1 in the regular season. I'm talking 9-1, 9-1, and 8-2. So we had excellent success, and just to be humble, because you don't know how many times in life you'll be that successful in something. So
what do you plan on taking up in college?
Academically,
say
you mean?
Don't take communications, don't take broadcast. I'll kick you out of here immediately. What were you planning on majoring in? What are you interested in?
I think I'm going to go into business. I'm not exactly sure what in business, but business is so broad and there's a lot of opportunities, so I think that's what I'm going to go into as of now.
As you move out of Somerset and into St. Francis, what would you like to say to the Golden Eagles that are going to be the 2016 team heading into their season?
Actually, I told them about this after we lost in the district championship, and I said, I remember when I was a sophomore looking into the seniors' eyes, and they're telling me, you don't really realize how quickly this time comes. And I said, just work your butt off, because this is one of the worst feelings you can ever feel. Such a disappointment to lose in the district championship, and you just don't want to ever have that feeling again. So work your butts off so you can be victorious next season.
Well, that's solid advice, and Coach Valerio's getting a whale of a football player, and you're the electric Jake Heiple. Jake, thanks for stopping by, and good luck to you at St. Francis.
All right, thanks for having me.